Hello, everybody. We are back. Hopefully, looks like not too many people have jumped off here, which we're lucky on that. You guys are very dedicated. For those wondering, I actually had an entire power outage here, so it's completely down and in the dark for a few minutes, but we are back now. So, Derral, welcome back.
And this portion is brought to you by Webinar Jam and Hangouts on Air.
Actually, it's brought to you by Rocky Mountain Power, I think.
Oh, we were having issues long before your power went out, man. Okay, gotta love Rocky Mountain Power. Okay, great. So let's get caught back up. I don't even know where it kicked out, so hopefully they'll be able to say where that's at. And our chat is gone, so hopefully we can get them from there. So I don't know.
I do have our chat here again, so we've got it back up and running here.
Yeah, the back up and running. So they need to kind of say, hey, where did we kind of leave off?
Well, considering I was gone before you, that's a tough one. So.
Well, I was just talking to myself. I was sitting here saying, hey, this is really cool. And I'm like, there's no live button up there or anything like that. So
yeah. Well, everybody's saying, hey, look, they're back. So, all right. Guys, we appreciate you sticking around. That's awesome. I thought there would be nobody here, but now the power is back. So I think when I left off, we were just finishing up what is GSA and why is it an issue, and you were talking about how they were switching from links to more of the social stuff, and that's kind of where I lost you, I think. So.
Yeah, and I don't know, is everybody on that? Is that where they're, where we...
Jim says you were picking your nose.
Oh, I did say that. That's true. That's definitely true. I really thought about doing that for sure. Okay, so let me just go ahead and discuss just a little bit about just the approach itself. So basically what YouTube and Google's looking to do is to see the interaction of the individual on a video or a page and what you're connected to. So that's kind of the social search, semantic social search is what I was discussing before. And then their question was posed is what exactly is the process or best practices to do when you actually post, which I would just encourage you to get as much traffic, much legitimate traffic as you possibly can, and have that social interaction. That make sure that you're commenting on the videos. I literally, if you've seen me release a video, I'll spend 2 or 3 days and just hit almost every comment on that video. And the reason why is it gets people to interact, and I'll even do a little timestamp in there to get them to watch different parts of the video or have them look at a different bit with them. And the reason why is it's really trying to build up that momentum that's needed to help sustain to get that video to rank.
Nice. And so, the bottom line is, guys, if you're doing anything that is shady, it's probably not the best practice. And they're probably going to catch on to you at some point in time. So.
Yeah, they definitely are, and I think the biggest thing too is learn what you need to do, because ultimately you can get a lot more growth and visibility by creating an audience, because that's what you're trying to do. And I think a lot of you that are on the call might do videos for other people, and you says, well, how am I supposed to get an audience for a banker, or how do I get an audience for a real estate broker or electrician or so on? And realistically, you can. You just need to look at the best way to deliver. And sometimes, it might not necessarily be through ranking a video, but actually doing pre-roll video. And I think that's the big thing, is looking at your strategy of delivery.
Nice. All right, so we're monitoring some of the things here, and I can see some people posting that, hey, they're starting from the beginning. And for those of you who are literally live with us, because I know after a certain amount of time, when you log in, it will actually do a replay from the start. So you may be behind now. But anyway, the disaster will continue here. We'll try to make this better as we go along here. All right, so we've got a few more questions here that we're going to hit. And Gary wants to know, he said, you said there's a 6-day window to get your views, etc. Is that 6 days from when you set the video to public, or 6 days from when you upload it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And to answer that, it's when you actually get it indexed. And the only way that it gets indexed is when you make it public. When you say an unlisted video, you can't go and get all this views and interaction. They don't even they view an unlisted video separately than they do a public video. And so, and even in their analytics and everything else, it's completely separated out, because there's a lot of people that would kind of try to preload videos, and I'll be honest with you, I've done that, where you'd go and get a lot of traffic there and then release. But yeah, that doesn't necessarily work that way. So you have 6 days. Once you make that public, it's indexed, goes across the board, and what they're doing in those 6 days, I want you to understand, is they're looking at your authority on the channel, and then also they're looking at your meta information, which would be your title, your description, your tags, and they're basically saying, okay, I trust you, what you're saying that your video's about. And they're also looking at your closed caption transcription, and they're saying, okay, I know your video's about it, but we're going to see how good your video is, and we're going to give a little bit of time, and we'll rank you a little bit higher, and you've probably seen it rank, and then it comes back down.
Right.
What happens, and this is in YouTube search, is that they go after other factors after about the 7th day. Sometimes it's a week and a half, and basically what it is they're going off of watch time, which is huge, of how long they watch the videos, their audience retention, okay, and a couple other factors that we talked about earlier in the call. But ultimately, you want to do as much as you possibly can during that time, and go from there. Now, there is a little trick and tip for those individuals that have stayed on and were patient. I want to give you a little tip. Is if you decide to add a brand new tag on something that's trending that would be related to your video, you will automatically trigger a reevaluation of your video, and it will be reevaluated. So you'll have a little bit of time that it will go off of your meta information. It's not quite the full week, but you'll get a little bit of time. If you get a whole bunch of traffic in there immediately, that can affect your ranking, especially on YouTube.
So you're saying is you've got a plumbing video, and something in the world of plumbing happens. You get that into your tags, it'll actually reevaluate you, and if you get a lot of traffic, that can actually benefit you.
Okay, so let me give you an example of one that we just did. There had been some floods, and I have a couple companies that we do stuff for that does flood restoration. I says, look, let's hit it hard. We already have the videos made. Let's do some pre-roll video. And the first thing that I did, right, was refresh the tags. I'll say flooding, flood in 2010, or I'm sorry, 2014 in Mesa, Arizona. And boom, guess what? That's where you're able to see it. And keep in mind, you can do that every time, and you can add it one specific tag. And what we want to do is get a whole bunch of traffic, and I knew a lot of traffic would come, and that changes the results there.
Nice. Well, that's a great little trick. And a lot of people used to say you should do that with your titles every once in a while too. If it's something better. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I definitely change my titles at time. I try to fix the title the best I possibly can the first go around. Out of all the meta information, that's probably the most critical, and I want to get it right the first time. But if it's a year down the road or 6 months down the road, I have no problem refreshing it unless I'm getting a ton of traffic from the other sources, because once you do that, guess what happens? They do that reevaluation, and I see it backfire too.
Right, absolutely. You can definitely do that. And a couple people are asking, let's see. So one says, does the process in video ranking that Ray did still work? Well, I would say yes, because I still do it. The big thing is when I put out that, and it was only a couple of months ago, any references to I don't even think I mentioned backlinks in there, really. It was all about getting views through promoted videos. It was about proper titles, tags, descriptions, all the stuff that is going to be good forever. They're never going to say, oh, you know what, we're going to discount titles from now on. Or oh, you're paying us money to promote your video, we're not going to give you any benefit from that. those are things that are always going to be good because it's what YouTube wants. And of course, having good videos. So.
Well, it is, and I think a crucial thing too is understanding the process of what they're actually looking for. They want good videos, and so good video doesn't mean necessarily that it's like the highest quality video shot on a red camera that you're doing at 2K or even 5K. But what it is the quality of the video is good enough to keep the audience and the viewer's attention, because once they do that, they make more money. And you got to realize that the biggest goal that they have everyone to do is what you actually do at the end of the video. That's the biggest goal that YouTube does. And if you're always sending your traffic off-site, you're going to see that affects you a little bit. But yet, if it's to promote another video or to subscribe or whatever, you can see that you'll get a little bit more love from YouTube. Now, I see that there's a couple questions that people are asking about pre-roll video. That is the little ad that comes up before you watch your video, and you have 5 seconds before you can skip it on some, and the others is just you have to watch it for 15 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever it is. That's what the pre-roll video is. And there was another people that wanted to understand what I meant about the reevaluation period.
Right.
The reevaluation period is basically if you change your meta information, i.e. title or tags, it will go through the process to trust that, and then they'll gather the information, which takes a little bit of time, looking at your other factors that I was telling you about, and when they reevaluate and say, okay, this is where it's at, then they'll reposition your ranking based off of their analytics, the stuff that they're actually going for. So, does that make sense? Did we lose Ray again? Wow, what a great one. So hopefully that answers your question. And let's see. Great. It is so frustrating, and I do apologize, guys. If he's not able to come back, we'll just have to reschedule this or something, because this is not working out well. But if you have an additional question, please put it in the comments. I am looking through the chat. I would encourage everyone on this call to do one thing. This is something that I do fanatically with my clients. Is I want them to look at the creator's playbook. Okay, now there's two different playbooks. There is the regular playbook, which is in version 4, and also there is the playbook. Let me hit the other one, which is one I really like, is the playbook for brands. This right here is best practices from YouTube, what you can do to really get some things. And there's some great stuff in here. How to strategize and schedule your content, how to optimize your content, how to promote your content. I found that most so-called video marketers don't even know what the playbook is, or even literally take time to go through this. And I'd encourage everyone to do this. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I would love to answer them. I'm going to basically go on this call for probably another 5-7 minutes. So if you have questions, go ahead to do it. Hopefully Ray comes back before then. Oh, sounds like
I'm back. I've been here the whole time.
Okay.
My microphone just wasn't cooperating.
Man, you are having issues galore across the board, huh?
I'm ready to pull out the gun here in a minute.
All right. Well, if you need to borrow a gun, I have a few. I do live in southern Utah, People are wondering where they can get the playbook. I know you have a link on your site or something.
Yeah, the creator's playbook I have. If you go to raythevideoguide.com/YT playbook, that will actually get you that. But you can search it up, and you'll find it pretty easily as well. All right, so let's look at some of our questions here. We've got. Do we create each video targeting just one keyword at a time? And how does YouTube evaluate videos on YouTube for duplicate content? That's a great question. I love that. And I would love to hear your thoughts on that, because what they actually say in the playbook, or at least in the old version of the playbook, is a lot different than what people often say and think. So what is your thought on that?
Yeah, so here's the thing. You can definitely target, if you have a super video that's on a specific niche and that's what the video is about, then do it. There's a lot of people that want to do several key terms and stuff the title and try to put every key term of the possible key terms that are in that niche in one title. My recommendation is to do multiple videos. You know, if you're going to video a client, it's not hard to go and get multiple videos out of that client. All you need to do is do a little bit more preparation, and you can get a lot of content. And just FYI, I had a client that we met with about 3 weeks ago that we got 42 different videos, and we did that in about an hour and a half.
Yep,
and they're small little segments, and that's all I wanted. And so ultimately, my approach would be getting more content that I can use relevant key terms that he would actually talk about, or he or she would actually talk about in the video, so that I'm not having a misleading title, because that's the first way to really get slapped is, oh, this is a misleading title, and so what you think is going to be doing good is actually shooting yourself in the foot, because YouTube's saying, oh, the people aren't retaining through this whole video, and so you're way below average of what the average should be for this type of video in audience retention. So,
Right.
but to go back to it to actually say, do you know what? I got one video, and you know, I'm going to basically put 100 of those videos together, and I'm going to just tweak it just a little bit. I think that you're doing a disservice, and I think it's spammy in that regard. Duplicate content, though, let's say that I actually have a video and I have another channel that has the same video. It's all about copyright, and if you have copyright, it's completely legit to do that. Your thoughts, Ray?
Yep. Well, and I completely agree. I've never had a video that's on multiple places have any issues, but in the older playbook, and I'm not sure if it's in the new one or not, they used to actually tell you how to upload the same video twice in the same channel. That actually would say in there, if you need to upload the same video twice, change the length a little bit or change the bit rate, which surprises people because they just assume, hey, you can't upload the same one twice, because they will say, hey, this is the same video, but they give you tips on how to get around that. So I'm assuming they don't mind it too much if they're telling you how.
Yeah, you can also edit the video. I'd encourage you to do that too, is edit the video using the editor right built in YouTube, and you can cut out sections, you can do whatever you want, and make a brand new video out of that one video, and in YouTube's eyes, it's a completely separate video.
Yeah, and the other thing too is with music, because obviously we hear a lot of problems about music as well, copyright and things. And I've even had royalty-free music where some butthead took the royalty-free music and used it to create a song, then copyrighted the song, so now when you use the royalty-free music, it pulls his song up as a copyright issue. So one thing you can do, they will actually give you the ability to replace the audio with another song. And so pay attention to that, because they will give you the opportunity to do that, and they'll give you music that's built in there that you can actually use as well. So,
yeah, for sure. Don't get me going on music channels. That could be its own little thing. I've never dealt with so many lawyers in my life, man. Yeah. There's a lot of issues from there, but yeah.
And quick question here. Somebody wants to know, how many channels per account? Is it 50? And then how many videos per channel? Yeah, I believe it is 50, correct?
It is 50. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
and videos per channel? I don't know if there's a limit.
Yeah, I've never reached it. I know I've got one with hundreds and hundreds of videos, and I've never reached it. So.
I have a client, NBC, that has, and I don't know if they treat them a little bit differently, but.
Right.
Yeah. They have their own server. It's the craziest thing. For
and
content, is they have their own server. They just send information over, and then it just says, oh, this is just check it on our server to see if there's any copyright issues. That's why when somebody's like uploading the Today Show or whatever, Tonight Show, they can say, oh, immediately it has a copyright ID issue because it's already flagged. I mean, it's crazy. So.
Yeah, it's the same type of thing with, I think the UFC, the WWE, same type of thing, just thousands of videos, and they don't have issues. So.
He was actually in my group for certification, and him and myself and a few others are the only ones that passed the test. So, but he's ultra small. But I don't think he's with WWE anymore. I think he's with Esquire magazine or something. I don't know. I'll have to check him out. But yeah,
those guys always move around.
Yeah, they do.
And the sad thing is, asking, hey, we're gonna.
Yeah, the sad thing is there's certifications with him personally, so he can move around with it too, and that would be like a little issue in job employment, that the company paid him to go through all this training, and now he moves company, and that other one now has a YouTube certified employee. So
it's like an electrician leaving with his certification,
Yeah.
And Jack says he has over 1,000 in his channel, so there you go. Somebody else is asking, what's the maximum number of videos that you should put on each channel, and how many different channels should you have for different niches? Ooh, this is a good one. This comes up all the time.
Okay.
You've got a plumbing, do you keep all your plumbing videos in one place and your nurse videos in another place? I'd love to hear your opinion on that.
Yeah, so let me kind of go through this. This is one that I've been asked a lot, and it really depends what are the videos for. I have a lot of people that follow me that are professional YouTubers, and they make their whole living on YouTube. They do it through ad revenue and also sponsorship. And so they might have a different goal than someone else that's adding multiple videos that's on there. So I would give different advice for different people. So let me kind of address both of them if that's okay. The first advice that I would do, and this is a very, very important thing, is the first thing, if you're just a professional YouTuber, is upload very often. I know that people have quadrupled their income. Instead of posting twice a week, that they do it daily. And by doing that, you can grow an audience a lot faster and so on, and you just really need to go through your hero hub and hygiene type of videos. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look in the Playbook for brands. That's in there. And ultimately, get as much content out there as you possibly can that your audience will like. Whether that's weekly, whether that's 5 times a week, whether that's 7 days a week. Now, I just met with a client today that's posting 3 videos a day, and for them to keep that, they actually have a lot of videos to get out, and all the content they already have right now, it's going to take them like 3 years to get all their content out before they have to actually create new content. And so our strategy is less playlist strategy and more posting strategy on that as well. So.
Nice.
So that's one thing. That's one thing if you're looking to generate off of YouTube. If you're actually using it for promotion, I would say, you know what? Look to see what type of video is going to be the best. So, maybe it's less is more, and put some of your effort into doing more of an advertising structure. Or if that's not converting as well as it could be, or if they don't have the money, then you can actually do multiple videos that would apply out there. But just to add videos just because you can doesn't mean that's the best way to do it. It really thinks, you have to figure out, are you trying to grow an audience? Well, then they need content. Are you just trying to get leads? Well, then growing an audience won't help you as much unless those leads are national, if it's more for a local client. So, there's multiple answers to that, and I think it would just understanding what your ultimate goal is for those videos, if it's, and that's where I'd have to go from there. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much, but that's what.
No, and I think the follow-up to that would be, because, I said the plumbing and all that, but I think what a lot of people question about that is, like, if you're going for a national thing, like you are selling a product that's a health product, for instance, do you make a channel just for that product, or do you make a channel for health products in general and have multiple health products. Now, me personally, I'd rather do the channel with multiple products on it.
Yeah,
Just because there's power in a strong channel.
there is, and
Would you agree with that?
products, yeah, for sure. If products that would relate to the same target audience, then yeah, go right ahead. If it doesn't, it really depends on what you're trying to do for that channel.
Right.
So
Beautiful. And we've actually done a case study where we took the same video, had a brand new channel, a okay channel, and then a really strong channel, uploaded it to all three of those using the same keywords to see who would win, and it came out exactly like it sounds it would. The powerful channel had the video number 1, the medium channel was video number 2, and the new channel was video number 3 for that keyword. So, I mean, that may not mean a whole lot, but it was just funny that it came in exactly like that. So I think there is power to that. Now, here, speaking of power in certain things, this is a very popular question that comes up a lot. Is there any more value to a Google Hangout when it comes to rankings than just uploading a video?
it depends on what you're looking to do with it. Now, keep in mind, when you say Google Hangout, you're referring to a Google Plus Hangout on Air, and there's been people that have tried to upload videos and stuff like that from there just to get the better ranking. And it's true, you're gonna definitely get that. For me personally, I have never personally done it for my clients that want some major visibility, because there is some limitations to it. And there's some products like what Bill Walsh has done, which is getting around some of those issues with some of those issues, not all of them, but a lot of them. But realistically, what it's doing is there is certain love that's going with Google Plus, and that's how you're presenting that to Google. Will that be always around? No, I think it's just a temporary thing. Do they know that we're doing it? Yeah. Is it a bad thing? I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's doing anything black hat. And so I think it's just making sure that the type of quality content is what the person wants to see. And if that's the direction that you feel like you can go for your ranking because it's so easy to do it, then go for it. For me, I always like to go after, even with my small clients, I like to go after an audience and answering questions. Even if it's a national audience, that still helps me locally. Right. So if I can get that responding to any type of questions or interacting with any type of audience, I create an authority. And by doing that, when I post a video in Podunk Town, Utah, or Podunk Town, Maine, or wherever, that video is going to go to #1, and it will even beat out the Hangout portion doing it too, because based off of the authority that we've actually created. It's just a long is you don't have to do anything, and it's people that audience.
And which I think is actually very cool, because it does
for sure
bridge some of that. And I've always been somewhat skeptical of the power of the Hangout over the other one, because if you've got a good quality video, you upload it properly, I can't imagine that it's a Hangout is going to be such a huge factor that it's going to hurt you, so.
Well, Ray, I release videos, and I can have them show up in 26 seconds. That's the fastest that I've ever got one to get the Google search results on the page they want. And it was because I have the authority, and they're going to treat me differently than someone that doesn't have the authority, because they have to go through this awkward courting period. And do all my videos do that? No, but the ones that Google says, oh, okay, this might be one that we want to promote a little bit because he has this, you can go from there. And then you can see a lot of other things. And I deal with a lot of clients that are going after some pretty aggressive key terms, and that authority is so important, and mobilizing their fans to get involved, because that can just speed up the process immediately. And you get a ton more views, ton more interaction, and make a lot more money. So,
and you mentioned a minute ago having the targeted audience. And I think that's a good segue into something else that I've really started to get into lately, which is promoted videos slash video AdWords slash TrueView, whatever you want to label it as, since they have 5 different names for it. What do you think of Google Ads as far as video ads?
I think it's one of the most powerful ways to convert people to becoming clients and giving you money. I don't care what niche you are, what you have, it can be an extremely powerful way to send them through a process if you know what you're doing when you set it up. And just to play an ad is one thing, and say, hey, I've spent money on AdWords. That's one thing, but to really know what type of video to do and what the purpose behind that video, it can convert really well. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of people are super excited about Facebook ads, and I love Facebook ads. I love that, but man, nothing is as cheap and as effective as video directed to a person. And even if you can really identify where it's placed and what type of content is presented, it can be extremely effective in closing, changing perceptions, or sending them down a process of funnel or whatever you want to call it to get them to become a client or to take action of some sort.
Yep, and I completely agree. I've gone over the moon with ads lately, and I actually started in that first camp, which was, hey, I want to get more views quickly, so I'm going to use promoted videos, and it does. It gets you views, but not necessarily, it's not necessarily targeted. It's not necessarily the best advertising platform. It's more of a video getting or view getting platform. But once you get into the advertising, brilliant stuff. I mean, we just did a test where we took a cold market, ran them to a page where they could opt in for a free product. The golden bribe that everybody's been selling WSOs on for 10 years. Well, just spending $5, $10, $20 on YouTube ads, I was able to build a list faster than any of those products have ever been able to do for you. I mean, it's so much easier to do that.
Yeah, and especially when the client says, oh, by the way, we want to spend $60,000 to promote this video on AdWords. You're like, okay, you're serious about that? And you'd be amazed at what $100 would do. What $60,000 can do is just amazing, so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, $20 has brought us an entire list, and, there's a difference between a list for a free product and a phone call to a business, but it's the same principle, and you can drive traffic very quickly. And as a matter of fact, what I've been telling people lately is, hey, you're buying GSA, you're paying Fiverr for views or whatever, you're paying somebody else for backlinks and all this other. If you had taken that same money, day one, put it into ads, you probably would have had phone calls day one.
Exactly.
So I just think it's just pay them. You're going to pay somewhere. You might as well pay them.
Yeah, I look at that as, you know what, you line their pockets, and that's a great thing, and they're going to get you more views. They really are, because those views are paid. They make money on it, and they're going to increase your visibility. But I do want everybody to know the video view and audience retention of an ad portion of the same video is viewed differently in analytics, and it's viewed differently in their algorithm to rank. But I don't know, I've seen some great results from that, to what they call seeding a video by getting some views that way.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And actually, I want to quickly, I meant to bring something up earlier when you were talking about making lots of small videos. One of the things that the Playbook tells you to do is to link those videos together. And if you make one long video with a client, you can't link it to something else necessarily. If you make 20 videos, they can link back and forth to each other.
Yeah, that's very, very powerful. And it's really there's like the earlier part of my videos, I never linked to another video. And I was only doing the subscriber button. Well, the reason why is I only wanted one call to action, and I wanted to subscribe. Once I got to the point where I was happy, then I started adding the other stuff. But really adding the other stuff, it's kind of a catch-22. You could do it either way. But for me, I wanted to solely be focused in on subscribing because that was my goal at the time. Now it's more about having them watch content and subscribe, and adding a couple more calls to action. But it was strategic. My thought was very strategic. I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew what videos I was going to make and the calls to action that was in there. And there's a reason why I did it the way that I did. Now, would I do it the exact same way for myself if I was able to start over again? Well, you bet I would. The reason why is because it was a very solid strategy, and we were able to get the results a lot faster than what I wanted, what I set the goal to be. But it definitely found the way. And there's different strategies at different times. One of the most important thing that you can do is to analyze your data and reevaluate and adjust. And you'll find out what will be the main videos. And the great thing about these YouTube ads that you're able to do is you can change those out immediately. You can have split testing in it as well, where you can see what actually converts more. And they give you so much flexibility and visibility that you can turn campaigns on and off and really split test to see what actually converts better. And once you get it really dialed in, why wouldn't you want to give someone $1 to get $5 in return? I mean, that's the way I look at it.
And the thing is we talk about Facebook ads versus YouTube ads, and the way I look at it is they're almost two totally separate things. On YouTube, you can really target for a keyword, for something people are searching, whereas on Facebook, you're kind of reaching out to people, and it's kind of the different. And one, you're trying to get in front of them when they search, and the other one, you're trying to find them out, which makes it a lot easier because just because you send an ad to everybody who's a nurse doesn't mean they want to see your ad. But everybody who's searching for a keyword and finds your ad is looking for that at the time. So it can be a lot more powerful because of that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I think the biggest thing, too, is realizing that, a lot of people are lazy in the sense, let me just get one video up, and that's all I'm going to do for the client, and I'm going to charge them a whole bunch of money for it. But if they'd spend a little bit more time figuring out, hey, maybe we can make them more money here. If you make them more money, if you're doing this as a business, you can in turn make more money, or you actually understand a way that you can figure out how to actually make more money with your next client if you're already locked in contract or what have you. But ultimately, it's really looking at all the possibilities. For about 2 years, I've been really deep diving in YouTube ads. I mean, I don't want to share the number with you, but the amount of the money that my clients have spent for advertising is ridiculous. And the thing about it is there's a lot of things that we did extremely well, and it converted very, very high. We had high conversion rates. Others, we want to get views. We got a lot of views from that. A lot of exposure, a lot of subscribers, all these different things. But ultimately, you learn a lot and you understand what happens and why you need to do certain things and so on. And all this applies across the board. It'll apply for a little small mom and pop shop, in small town USA. It'll work because I test it. That's where I usually test my advertising structures and the strategies, and then I take it to the bigger mid-sized guys and then the big boys. Because realistically, you don't want to have someone that's spending a lot of money on ads and it doesn't pan out. I want to be able to test it out. And I found across the board it's very, very positive across the board. And I want to share one case study, if that's okay. There's a guy that had a used car dealership that used ads in a unique way, and he now owns 20 dealerships. And it was just because he was selling cars like this, and he saw an opportunity. So there's tons of ways. I'm not going to give the specific strategy or anything like that, but there is some very, very powerful way to advertise super cheap and get to the right target audience that's actually wanting to have the content. So
beautiful. And Tony wants to know, and this is a great question because we've talked a lot about not using DA and all that kind of stuff. He wants to know, what are the powerful types of backlinks that you should be using that are going to help you?
Well, here's the thing. I'm more concerned about embeds than I am backlinks, and I'll tell you why. Embeds can be really powerful, and there's software that put it on crap sites. I'm not saying do that. But let's just say that you get picked up, okay? And let's just say that it gets picked up from your local news agency or something else, and they take your YouTube video and embed it on their website. That's pretty powerful. And I would view that as a very, very strong signal going back to both Google and YouTube that people are liking your content. Now, I also, the type of backlinks that I like are naked URLs. It's not having any anchor text whatsoever. And if it's picked up, but it's all about context and what happens on those sites. So if people are actually watching videos on your site, boom, that's great. And especially if they can do pre-roll ads, and they're tracking it very specifically to see, if this is a great place and so on, and if it has good ranking factors. But you don't necessarily need a lot. I would just encourage you to see what's relevant to your niche. So if you're a dentist, maybe there's a dental, forum, or there's something else that would be appealing that people would actually watch that content. Now that's dealing towards dentists, not necessarily the people. So you got to figure out where they congregate, and maybe it's in a community that they have their own Facebook page, or they have their own website, or Tumblr account, or they're involved in Reddit. You just got to figure out, what area of where you actually post the content. And when I get hired, that's the thing that I do really well, is I try to figure out where my audience is online, where are they at offline, and I figure out how to get in front of them, and I figure out the ways to do that. And when you do that, that's where you can grow an audience, and that's where you can get that viewer interaction that YouTube's really looking for.
Beautiful. And of course, the social bookmarks in general, the ones that are built right into YouTube, they're telling you, hey, we want you to share this content. And I think that's something that we need to really think about is, what's YouTube's goal? YouTube's goal is to have people come to YouTube, right? Because they run ads and they make money off that. So when you use those buttons underneath, the Facebook button, the Twitter button, whatever it happens to be, you're essentially telling people, hey, come to YouTube. Why wouldn't they like that?
Exactly.
That's the type of thing they do want to see.
They do, and that would kind of go against embeds, but realistically, they're bringing YouTube to you too. Is when you have an embed, especially if you embed a playlist or something like that, then there's multiple things that can happen. There's a lot of great things that's there. But I do need to start wrapping this up, if that's okay. I know that we had a really difficult time getting started, so I feel really bad, Ray. And I know it's not everybody's fault. So I'm willing to do something with your permission, if that's cool.
You can do whatever you want.
I have a conference that's coming up. It's called the Vid Summit, and this conference is happening October 9th through 11th. And I see Steve that's on the call. And Steve, if you want to come as my guest, you can, but I don't know if you're leaving Omaha or not. But what I'm willing to do is give 4 people a free ticket to get in, because I really feel bad, and maybe I shouldn't do 4. Well, I guess I already said I'd do 4, but I'd be more than happy to do that. And it's a great little event that's happening. We have some great speakers there. Myself, David Walsh, if you know David. David is a brilliant guy in dealing with membership sites and funneling. And there's some really powerful things. We also have Gideon Shalwick and James Wedmore. We have Efat Cohen and Dane Golden. I really like Dane. Dane's a smart guy. We talked about him on the radio show, that he's the president used to be the president of Twit Network. We have Casey Zeman, and also we have this guy right here. What's his name again? Oh, Ray.
I don't know. He's sexy though.
There we go. We have some others like Rob Actis that's going to go and talk about voiceover and how to select that and so on and so forth. But realistically, guys, it's a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of stuff that you're going to learn and so on. But we got to figure out how to give away these tickets, because this is like a $247, almost $347 thing, and I really shouldn't do 4, but I'm going to do it because I said I was going to do it. So I really felt bad because we had a lot of people kind of kick off. So what do you think we should do? How should we give them away?
I'm not sure how you want to be able to give those out, but if we want, and I'll tell you this right now, one of the things, and it's going to be a little messed up this time, but we tend to have double people watching an hour from now or a day from now than we do live. And plus, I'm going to put this together and send it out. So if you want,
are you going to edit it so we don't have all the issues?
And we've got everybody
because I'm like, I don't even want this being out on the internet. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I think I've got ways to piece it together into one seamless unit. So, but we have everybody that registered, whether they got booted out or stayed the whole time. We do have everybody that registered, so we can actually figure out how to pull a name out of a hat from that if you want, or we can give away a couple live here, or however you want to handle that.
Well, I think the biggest thing would be, first off, if they're able to make it. That's one of the things that I'd like to do. So one of the things I'm going to do is Scott. I don't know Scott's last name. I'll give you one ticket. I'm going to let Ray and Steve figure out what they want to do with the rest. All I need is the name and the email address, and if you can just send it through our little private messaging, we can kind of go from there. But Scott, I'll definitely do that. You said, hey, I won, so I'm going to do it. I'll give it to him. So it's all good. And then you figure out the way, Ray. Just figure out the way that you'd like to do it, and especially keep in mind that you have other people that are watching it, because there's some people in the UK that did want to stay up till midnight to hear two guys talk about video. So
no, absolutely, and we can definitely do that. And of course, for everybody who's listening right now or listening in the future, if you don't win, you certainly are still welcome to come to this event, because it is a great event. You're going to learn a lot. And I popped up a link so you can go to the page, but I'm also going to put a sticky up here, and that'll have the link inside the chat, so that you can go over and take a look and see what's going on. And of course, we'd love to have you sign up and go to that, because you're going to learn a ton. I mean, I'm excited to meet all these guys.
Yeah, here's the thing is, let me pause this real quick. Let me put the right chat in there too, because I made you a little Vid Summit link, and so let me go ahead and post that in there. And you want me to put it on the sticky display? Because if they go through it, they'll go to that one page, so they can get all the information from here, and then they can go from there. So
beautiful. So I will paste that in there. Oh, let me remove that sticky first. There we go. And there you are. So there it is. Right. So vidsummit.com/Ray. That's easy. Beautiful. So yeah, we would love to have. I'd love to meet you guys. So if you get out there, be sure to chase me down.
Okay. So one other thing that we need to do, Ray, and I don't know what you want to do on this, but I think what we need to do is make it up for these guys, because you're like bragging to me that this is so awesome, and I was like, I don't know, I'm a little skeptical still. So.
Well, I'm skeptical now too. So.
If you would like to do it, maybe what we can do is do another webinar, and maybe we can take all the questions they would like to ask, and I'll make sure that we go through each one of those questions. I'll kind of group them together and then hit it from there, because basically I was going to go through the playbook, but it was like getting kicked out, and we were really hitting it. I was going to talk about some basic level best practices stuff. And so maybe if you feel like you want to do that, I'd be more than happy to give my time to do that.
All right, that would be wonderful, and I've copied everybody's question here, so I've got them pasted into a document now. It's crazy looking, but it's there. And so we can go through that. But yeah, if you want to do that, we'd be glad to do that. And if anyone has any questions, of course, you and I are both almost always in the Facebook group, so we can answer some of the questions there as well. But maybe we can just do either a straight hangout, or we'll pull up another webinar software.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll just run it through live events next time, and I can.
Oh, there we go.
I never had a problem with that yet. So.
All right, cool. So before we take off, is there any real pertinent questions that anybody has that we really need to know? Where is the Vid Summit in LA? Beautiful. It's right near the airport.
It's exactly right by the airport. We're at the Westin. just a few miles away from YouTube Spaces. And that was a reason why I wanted to be there. I only wanted to be a few miles away from that because of some things that are going to be at the event. So yeah, just wanted to let you know about that. There's a lot of cool stuff, that's happening. But I can't let all the cat out of the bag. But when I do an event, I like to hit a home run, and I want to be really close to specific reason. So.
Who does win? Because Scott just asked. You can hit me up on Facebook after you win, and we'll make sure you get whatever you need, or we'll reach out to you anyway. So, because I've got everybody's contact info.
Yep.
So,
and would you connect us? Like anyone, just connect me through the Facebook too. That'd be great. So that way I can get them taken care of.
Oh, and Steve wants to know the Westin, is that right outside of LAX?
Yes, that is correct. Mm-hmm.
Good, because that's the one I'm coming into.
Good. You get to take a vacation after the Vid Summit too, I hear. So that's good.
I am. I'm literally leaving from the summit to get on a plane to make it home just in time to get on another plane to fly out.
It's the way to do it. You get to go on a cruise, right? Are you going on a cruise?
Yes, a Disney cruise even.
Dude, Disney! That's awesome. Okay, so you get to go relax in the sun, and I got to fly up to Coos Bay, Oregon, and shoot music videos. So I got hectic right after. I mean, it's like ending the thing, and I got to get on the plane and, get up there. So, yeah.
Yes. And Randy says, or just come spend the day with each of us and show us some of this live.
I don't know if that's Randy from the group, but yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
The world tour.
There we go.
So that's great. So yeah, and we will pick out a couple more winners. And actually, if it's okay with you, Derral, and everybody else, we'll probably do that through the Facebook group because that's
I think we should. I mean, I congregate a lot there, so I think that's a good place. And I put videos there all the time. I like to give video, some benefit back besides watching, liking, commenting, and sharing, right? So yeah.
Absolutely. And so if anybody's not in there, and I'm sure 90% of you probably are, I just posted it at the top there. So join us there. Just come and ask to join. We'll let you in, and we'll, maybe we'll, what we'll do? I've got an idea. We talked about a lot of stuff here today. So maybe what we'll do is we will post 3 questions that are based off of here, and whoever gives the answer first, the best answer first, will win the tickets.
How about if we do something else? Because I know that will get you some great rewatches, but this is a horrible one that we did because of all the problems. Why don't we do this? Who could pose the best question? So have them put a question for the next time that we come on, and we can go ahead and select, ooh, that's a great question. Have them interact a little bit more. What do you think about that?
I think that's perfect. We'll do that.
Okay, great. I don't need to tell you what to do, but I just told you what to do. So.
No, that's great. Hey, I'm looking for a solution for that. So we'll make a video, and we'll post the video and run ads. So look for that.
But I want to do it quick because I want to do it quick. And those individuals that didn't win, you can still come to the summit. We do have limited seating, to be honest with you. There is, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again here real quick. There is a nice, beautiful room that we're in. It's stadium seating. You can see that right here. And basically what that is there's only so many people we can fit in this room. And the reason why I liked it is because they're nice big chairs that have desks, the little pop-up thing. And it's a beautiful room for video. And so, the screen's like, that's just going halfway in. The screen's usually the full size of the background there. And so it's a really, really nice screen too. So.
And of course, it's a nice hotel, and they've got some nice rooms there and a lot of fun things to do for the evenings and stuff. So we'll all have a grand old time sharing war stories and sharing ideas. So.
Yeah, I'm getting texts from people that says, Derral, the webinar was actually a lot better than you think. But for me, I'm like, oh, man. Because I like to have everything just kind of roll perfectly. I don't know why.
Oh, and I was pulling my hair. You should have seen me when the
Well, when you came back on, your hair was a little bit taller, and you're kind of like this. You're like this.
Well, I was laughing because I purposely turned my camera off because my internet's so slow that I don't want to bog anything down, and somehow it got turned back on there, so no one's supposed to see me anyway.
Yeah, no, that was priceless. Hey, one day they're going to have fast internet in your neck of the woods, man, so...
It's coming. Supposedly it's coming.
Yeah. So is Christmas. Oh, that's awesome.
The only difference is Christmas has a date.
Exactly. That was the next comment. All right, man.
All right.
I really appreciate it, and I'm really serious about doing that webinar. And I'd rather do it quicker, sooner than later, because eventually I'm literally locked out of time. So I'd like to do that. Whether we do it online and we just post on wherever, whatever you'd like to do. So.
Yep. Whatever you want to do is fine, but we'll do that. We'll set that up ASAP. I'm pretty free. I don't ever leave my house, so So look for that, everybody. Please go to the Facebook. You might win a ticket. Post your question. I'll put information for where to post the question in just a few minutes for the best question to win some tickets. And, of course, we will give you information about redoing this a little bit where it's a little more organized, hopefully, and doesn't have all the tech issues of broken microphones and power outages and everything else. So, Derral, thank you for being patient with us today.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
And everybody else, thank you for being patient. All right, we will see you in the Facebook group. Have a great weekend. Actually, it's Friday, isn't it? Wow.
Is it Friday?
So everybody have a great weekend.